Hey everybody, welcome to Members Only, a show centered around CMAC members and the projects they produce. My name is Johnny Pacina, and I'll be your host for today. In this edition of Members Only, we'll be talking to the producers of two shows, M Street TV and Valley Veterans Forum. Up first is Marisha Dixon, the producer of M Street TV, a series that gives tips to professionals in order to help them build their own personal brand. But before we talk with Marisha, let's take a look at a short highlight video about M Street TV.
Hello everyone, this is Marisha with Muscles and Makeup.
Brands who want to continue to grow their name and image are always looking for exciting and cost-effective ways to increase customer loyalty.
Hello beautiful people, and welcome to M Street TV, where I share insights to help you discover, capture, and reveal your unique brand story. I am your host, Marisha, and today we are talking about a powerful digital tool that you can use to tell your brand story and connect with your target audience more effectively. From the montage that opened our show today, you can probably guess that that digital tool we'll be discussing is video. And there you have it, folks. 3 tips you can use to discover, capture, and reveal your unique brand story. I'm Marisha, and I'm here to engage, educate, and empower people, businesses, and communities that are making a positive impact on the world by helping them to discover, capture, and reveal their unique brand story. My philosophy is simple. We are all connected, and I believe that if we don't show up and share our purpose with the world, we could potentially be preventing someone else from fulfilling theirs. Make sure you show up and share your story with the world today. That's all for M Street TV today, folks. Thanks for watching.
Everyone, and as I mentioned before, here is Marisha Dixon. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. And all those highlights in the highlight video we had, some of that stuff was produced outside of CMAC, right?
Yes, actually I started my video production journey last year.
Last year, nice. So how did you get when did you do those?
It was actually last spring. I have always kind of had a passion for camera work and creating just different, media projects, and so I decided to just dive right in. And
that's awesome. Yeah. And at CMAC, we really enjoy when members come in and they're really passionate about something, a subject, and you are no exception. You come in and you are very dedicated, I would say, very dedicated to the work and learning video production. And we have been interfacing with you as staff to help you out. And you were even in today, right?
Yes, it was an all-day thing again today.
Yeah, so even before the show, you were here for like 3-4 hours working on your show.
Yep.
And that's great. So talk about your show a little bit, though. This new format you're kind of thinking of. You've done a few things on the green screen. Talk about the show.
Absolutely. So I am producing and obviously the on-air talent for M Street TV, which is designed to help millennial moguls in the making discover, capture, and reveal their unique brand story. I started my entrepreneur journey a couple of years ago, and it was very challenging for a number of different reasons. I think when you're first starting out, it's really hard for you to kind of get an idea of what your purpose is and how you're going to serve people. And when you don't have, a real certain understanding of that, it is very challenging for you to authentically live that and do that. The other thing that I came across as a challenge for me, and what I started to discover about other people who were trying to start their own business, was once you did have a clear understanding of what you were doing, it was very hard for you to decide how to communicate that. And so this show is really geared towards giving tips to people based on some of the experiences that I've had, challenges that I've heard other entrepreneurs talk about, and really just kind of make it simple and fun for them to figure out, okay, this is what I need to do to effectively communicate what my brand message is so that I'm attracting the right people to my business.
That's excellent, yeah. And I could kind of vouch for that too, being a younger person, and I kind of wish I had that insight and advice, I guess, when I was going through college as well. So that's great that you're providing that advice. And with members at CMAC too, you get all sorts of age ranges that come in, and people are working on productions. and a lot of them are students as well. So not only could they come in and work on your show, they could also be learning at the same time in that process.
Absolutely.
So that's excellent. That's a win-win situation for everyone too. So the show itself actually has been, you just premiered your first episode this past Tuesday,
Yep.
right? And you're already working on the second episode, right?
I just finished the second episode today.
That's right. That's right. You had it all ready to go. So
Yeah.
talk about the process, how that started, and how you actually use this very studio for your show, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, let's talk about how that process went.
All right, so where do I start? Well, really, I think the key to production is everything pre-production. You have to have a clear vision of what it is that you want to accomplish. That way, when it comes to the shooting and editing, it kind of happens a lot easier. So for me, this has actually been a series that's been in the journey in the making for quite a while, actually. Lisa, I talked to her about this probably last year when I started doing studio, and it's taken me about a year to finally make it happen. So I've had quite some time to really get an idea of what, I wanted to see. So it made, when I came up with scripts and concepts and all of that, it made the pre-production process really easy. And like I said, from there, once it, time to shoot, you kind of just knock it out, and editing from there also, it's a lot easier because you know what you're looking for. I would say that the challenging part was, trying to manipulate green screen. That was how I actually shot my first few episodes. So I'm rethinking that.
It can be challenging, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. It does make it challenging to, especially because you're working with lighting.
Yeah.
If the lighting's not perfect, there's going to be something that's going to be kind of off in the look of the show. But the background was good, I thought. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a good selection there. And that's what members are, they have the ability to do that. If they have a background or some sort of, something they could put on the green screen behind them, you have options to do that. So what kind of new things are you going to explore then? If you're at the green screen now, but what do you think you're going to be doing now for the next episode?
I do want to shift into creating just a live set, and then from there practice being on location. I think on location is, a little bit more challenging. Definitely going to need a crew, some support for that. So if there's members
Hey,
at
members out
CMAC
there, yeah. Hey.
who would be interested, I definitely appreciate, giving a helping hand. But essentially, I'm going to shift into doing a set and then practicing so that
Gotcha.
I can do on location.
That's great, yeah, that adds another element to the production as well, because you're going to go out and film something, and then you're going to implement that into your studio show.
Yep.
And that's going to be even some more pre-production.
Yes.
But that's really the advice we give all of our members is, if you have it solid, your pre-production, your production's going to be really smooth, and your post-production should, essentially the pieces should fall into place like you were saying
Absolutely.
earlier. So have you explored where you're going to go on the field and kind of places you're going to go to? What types of places are you thinking?
Well, I think, my show is very, it is geared towards, millennials. So that's that 18 to 34-year-old age group. So I do want it to be something that's fun, modern, chic, and obviously I'm a woman, so I'm probably targeting more women than anything.
Right.
Really, the tips can be beneficial for anybody, but
Right.
yeah, so I'm still playing with that. Doing
Gotcha.
a lot of discussion with Caesar as well on that. So we'll see.
Yes, yeah, when we're here for you too, as staff at CMAC. Any questions you have, even when it comes to the development of the concept, frequently and typically we'd be helping members out with the studio production. Like making sure the cameras are on and recording, and the cables are all in order. But sometimes we will dabble into the creative process a little bit with you, just to give you some tips so you can start thinking. So that's great. So I guess since you're early in the game here,
Yes.
but you're doing really good, I would say. Especially a lot of people can probably say the same for looking at your highlight video and seeing what you've done so far. What is some advice, some of the early advice you can give to members who are wanting to do something similar to what you're doing?
I would say first off, don't rush it. Like I said, it took me a year to finally get to this point, and it doesn't necessarily mean it will take a year, but don't rush. I think, what you want to do when considering production is being consistent. So you have to really think, what is the end goal that you're trying to achieve with your production projects, and really plan that process out. So again, when you get to actually shooting and the post-production part of the process, it becomes easier. So definitely don't rush, take your time, plan it out, and have fun.
Yeah, that's
Those
the
are the
most
two
important thing,
main
right?
things.
Yeah.
Yes, have fun.
And that's really, too, it's you want to enjoy what you're doing.
Yes.
And what makes it even more enjoyable is you plan it out enough. You don't want to be asking questions while you're on set right now, like,
Right.
oh, what's my next line? Or what am I doing right now? That sort of thing. So, just like this show, we've pre-produced it for the members to do the show. And, everything falls into place. Everything is in order. Everyone's doing a good job so far. Good job, everyone out there. But so let's talk about what type of program you have. We talked about the subject matter and how you've accomplished it, but it's what we consider a filler kind of episodic series, right? So we have, for example, it's like, 5 minutes you're aimed for every video? Short and sweet, right?
Absolutely.
And so let's talk about how you're implementing that. And with your blog, right? You're going to be updating the videos after you make them at CMAC, you go to the blog. So talk about how you're going to do that process so members know that they have that option.
Absolutely. So in today's world, people are everywhere. They're on their tablets, they're on their phone, they're on the computer. So they're always looking for information, and they're looking in different, areas. So you'll go from Facebook to YouTube to a blog to a this to a that. And so when you're building your brand, you want to consider being everywhere that your audience is going to be. And so essentially my vlogs or the video posts that I'm doing correspond to certain blog or written topics that I'm able to expound a lot more in the written form. So it just gives me that visibility and consistent, output of content, so that wherever people look, I'm probably going to be there.
Yeah, that's good, and keeps it fresh, right?
Yes.
You're not just having standard blog posts, you're
Right.
having a video. So Marisha, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
We're going to wrap up your segment, but we'll be back soon. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined with Steve and Ace Manelski, the producing team behind Valley Veterans Forum. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Joining me now is Steve and Ace Manelski, the father-son team behind Valley Veterans Forum, a talk show spotlighting veterans and their stories during their time of service. But before we bring them out, let's take a look at a short highlight video about Valley Veterans Forum.
The call to serve. It has no sound, yet I have heard it in the whispered retelling of honorable sacrifices made by those who have served before me. The call to serve has no form, yet I have clearly seen it. In the eyes of men and women infinitely more courageous and more driven than most. The call to serve has no weight, yet I have held it in my hands. I will commit to carry it close to my heart until my country is safe and the anguish of those less fortunate has been soothed. The call to serve is at once invisible and always present. And for those who choose to answer the call, for their country, for their fellow man, for themselves, it is the most powerful force on earth.
Well, welcome back. That was an excellent highlight video, guys. I'm always impressed when I see every new episode. There's something new every time. You guys gone like the extra mile every time. So, hey, thanks for being here today. Appreciate the time to take out of your schedule to come here.
Thank you,
So,
Johnny.
yes,
Thank you
Stephen
for
Ace.
inviting us.
Yeah,
It's
really
our pleasure.
appreciate it. Yeah. So let's fill in our audience a little bit about what your show is about. It seems like you have a lot of types of the format of your show. You have interviews, things like that. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, let's start with the fact that both of us are veterans. I'm a Vietnam veteran. My son is a veteran of both the Navy and the local Army Guard unit. And what prompted me actually is, first of all, prompted me to start this program was coming to CMAC and learning about the process of video production in a professional way. And then at about the same time, I started attending regular meetings at the Clovis Veterans Memorial District that occur every Monday. And I started to hear the stories of veterans, their experiences, and I also became sensitive to what was going on in the current military, some of the problems that we're being faced with, suicides in the military, PTSD, a serious problem and a recurring problem. So I wanted to get involved as a former veteran myself and help the veteran community. And that's what brought me to do
Great.
this
Well,
program.
we appreciate you being here, and I think it is an important story that needs to be told because you don't see those kind of stories on the regular news.
Well, it's fantastic to have a forum
Right.
in which we can express the stories that don't often get told about the military in general.
Right.
I mean, there are issues about sexual harassment, abuse in the military, and just PTSD. He touched on
Right.
PTSD, and
Right.
that's, those are touchy subjects.
Right,
So it's fantastic to be here at CMAC and have an opportunity to express those stories.
Yes, most definitely. And you guys have even brought in some experts, right? Some people who study these things too.
Well,
What are some
yeah,
of the guests?
myself and my son are both receiving treatment from the VA, and so we're there regularly, and because of that, we know about their initiatives, and we've been able to tap into the resources there.
And our very first episode was featured Dr. Kazam, who's a world-renowned expert on PTSD and dual diagnosis,
Right.
alcohol and drug abuse in the military, which is highly prevalent. So, I mean, these are, like I said, touchy stories that
Right.
a lot of people don't talk about, and so it's just great to have this avenue at CMAC.
Yeah. Yeah, we're happy to have you too. So how long has it been on air now? Because I know you guys have been one of the earlier members when we first opened,
Yeah.
right? So how long has the show itself been on air?
Oh, probably about a year and a half or so. Part of our productivity and our goal to each other when we started working as a team on this was to advance our videography skills as we were producing the program in all different ways. So as you know, we've also done some music videos. I've been able to use the resources and the connections I've had to entice talent.
Along the way, we've gotten to do so many more different, different avenues of media production that I didn't even really think about when we got started on
Yeah.
this. The journey has been, it's been great.
fun, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
And-
fun and
Yeah.
very educational. I mean, geez, there's so much
right.
to it.
And I'm glad I've been able to be a part of that journey working here at CMAC and helping you guys and really seeing the progress. I will say I'm very impressed where you guys have gone from the start to finish now, especially with editing. right? Editing. You guys have both you've come a long way. No, but it's been great though.
Well,
I mean,
that's the thing
yeah.
that I wanted to get started with early on because I knew it was going to be the most difficult thing. And speaking of your education and your mentoring, the staff here at CMAC has just been not only inspirational, but you've been great. You and Johnny, you, Lisa, Caesar
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always willing to help.
even
when you guys-
Bastina at the front desk.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Your hand is extended, and we reach out and we help you out.
No,
So.
Yes,
we,
thank
we,
you.
we enjoy that. We
Yeah.
enjoy the camaraderie that we have experienced here too. CMAC is truly a collaborative effort. And when you start to work with people who are seeking to be professional and raise the bar, you start to want to do that with them. And that's the exciting part of what we're doing. We have experienced growth, personal growth, and we've also learned along the way, and we want to continue to improve.
Yeah, and that's great. And going back to the highlight video we just shown, now some of that footage, and I would like some CMAC members to be aware of it, you were able to get some stock footage, right?
Yes.
We have access to stock footage. So talk about how that process went. We were able to get some footage to supplement your interviews and how you guys did your show.
Well, the resources are fabulous here, and you keep on improving on them too. Not only the stock footage resource, but the musical background resource, and that sort of thing. The special effects, things like that we can do. We've also learned how to use the resource of the internet, how to pull up imagery from Google and use the search engines. And my son has been particularly helpful in that regard, showing me which images we can use and which we shouldn't use, what we should avoid. And again, we're learning by using the editing techniques that we've learned here and the Adobe Premiere Suite that we have, we're learning more and more ways that we can improve on the final product, and that's what we're looking for. But in addition to improving on the final product, we want to also improve on every episode, what we present. Most recently, we went down to Bakersfield and shot a story of a gentleman by the name of Walter Fee, a 94-year-old veteran of the Second World War, who was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he's still alive and kicking, and he's still got life in him, and he's managing an oil field. It was a fabulous event for both of us, in spite of the fact that we got lost for 2 hours.
Yeah, but you and the CMAC staff
Yeah.
have taught us how to utilize over-the-shoulder shots and
Yeah.
Which you did in that particular episode, right?
Techniques that we learned, and also how to, when you're in the field, and as we learned from Lisa's first lectures, you know, Murphy's Law gets put to work all the time.
Oh,
when you're
Murphy.
in the field, things don't always work the way you planned for them to work, so you have to adjust. You have to make adjustments.
Right, yeah.
of course Don Priest.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
been
He's the
inspirational,
man.
and
Yeah.
he's the man.
He's my
the
mentor,
man.
too. I always consider
Yep.
my mentor. So
I
he's
know.
here somewhere behind the
He's
scenes.
here.
He's even here now.
I'm glad to
Yeah.
have him here
Yeah.
because otherwise we'd be.
Yeah, him and Murphy, they're hanging out somewhere around here. Yeah. But yeah, so I think we touched about it a little bit too, but what are some of the challenges you guys face? We talked about the editing a little bit, but what are some other types of production things that you encounter that maybe we can kind of forewarn some people?
Well,
before
one
it
thing
happens?
that I would suggest to any new CMAC member is take the educational advice that you give us, and one of the very first things that you teach us here is to utilize a network with people.
Absolutely.
No man is an island. You can't do it all on your own. You need the assistance of people that are good at what they do. You need a bunch of different people to do any particular job. So network and get to know people and work with people. They are your best asset.
It's super easy to do here too. I mean, people are coming together and they're learning video
It is
production.
the Community Media Access Collaborative.
That's right. That's our name right there.
It's the collaborative.
Yeah, and so that's great. And you know, you guys sometimes, I mean, your main show is Valley Veterans Forum. You do the show. But let's shift over to how you volunteer, because you're talking about working with others. You've actually helped others out on their shows too. One specifically was the Debating Charlie at the Fresno City. How did that production go? How did that process?
Well,
It was
that
difficult.
was a good example of a difficult situation because we weren't properly prepared. We didn't get entrance to the facility in a timely manner. What
But we
what-
made use of the
we made,
the
yeah, we
tools that
adjusted
had.
on.
Yeah.
We adjusted once we got
You
there.
have to
right.
adapt and overcome.
But one of the things I definitely have learned and have taken to heart for future planning, for future productions, is the planning process is so essential. For my next show, I'm going to have all my ducks in a row before I even come in here. I've learned techniques about pre-packaging.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of learned that, on my own, but as you know, it works much better. And I want to be able to do, as he is the director, I want to be able to walk in here so that the tools that he has at his disposal makes it easier for him to move through the whole production without glitches. And
one of the other
hang-ups.
difficult aspects that I have encountered, just being behind the camera and seeing how the production goes down, is all the little mistakes you can make along the way. A power cord being in the way.
Yeah, something's wrong. Yeah,
The the curtain is not just right.
Yeah, or if the
lighting
microphone's
is not
pointing
right.
down.
Stuff you pick up
yeah.
after the finished product is seen,
Yeah.
you say, "Oh, I wish that hadn't happened."
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But the thing is, the reason we're striving for every show to be better than the last is because we learn as we go along. We get the assets and help of the crew here, and the collaboration is the key. That when I'm going to search for a crew, normally I'll get some of the same people responding, but I also want to point out that both of us love to teach and aid just as much as you do. So the newer members of CMAC that are coming in here, I want to be able to mentor to them just like you've mentored to us,
Yes.
because it's important.
Yeah,
to
if you
keep-
think you
to
can
keep
do
the spirit
this on
flowing.
your own, if you think that this media production thing is something that you can just handle on your own, forget about it.
You need help.
You
You need the
need
crew.
a lot of
Yes.
help. You need a
And-
crew.
Yeah, and again, there's no lack of that here.
That's
you'll
right.
have-
It's,
Absolutely.
it's a beautiful thing. I'm so happy for CMAC. It's fun, and the people that you meet here, it's great.
Yeah,
It's,
and it's great because we've already seen it too. We've seen families working together too. Father and son like you guys. That's excellent. We love to see that too. You can, and it also it's a benefit to bring the family together, getting the community together even too. So
Absolutely.
looks like we're about out of time, guys. But thank you for coming. Appreciate your service. Hope you guys keep making some great episodes. So we'll be seeing you soon. All right.
It's our pleasure.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very
we'll
much.
be here.
All right, thanks, guys. That wraps it up for today's edition of Members Only. If you'd like to see more about any of the shows we've talked about today, you can look for them on CMAC's channels, Comcast 93, as well as AT&T Uverse channel 99. If you don't have Comcast or AT&T Uverse, you can go to www.cmac.tv to watch the live streaming of our channels online through CMAC's website. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time.